Hey guys, Lex Gray here. Let's do another Lex Talk video. This, I think, will be number 12. It's been a while. Been kind of caught up playing these war games, which is going to be the big topic of this entry. Because I've been experimenting with rules light systems since late August, I think, early September, so this month. And I want to give my first impressions of it because I've never played war games in my life. I obviously have known about Warhammer for years, but much like D&D, I've stumbled onto it very recently in my life, but not Warhammer exactly. More so one-page rules, Grimdark Future, VSSR, my own system that I've been cooking up, and eventually I want to learn Kill Team, which is right here. So it's just fascinating. So again, first impressions. What do I think about wargaming in general? It is insanely fun. It is and especially solo. It's very intriguing because I don't see a lot of Warhammer solo videos besides Kill Team and another combat zone or whatever it's called. Other variations of Warhammer, but like actual 40k Warhammer or Sigmar or Age Old World, I don't see a lot of solo videos. So I figured, why not give it a shot? Why not try a solo wargaming? And it is difficult at times, but it's also very enjoyable. Uh, I wouldn't say it's mindless, but it's like you have a single objective to achieve, and you have to get it done. But at the same time, playing it solo, you have to play from both sides. You gotta kind of switch to the other team and play in their favor, and then switch to the other team, and then what will they do? So, it's less on obviously less on role play, more on strategy and combat. Now, in terms of which system is my favorite so far, again, it's only been a month. I'm not here to say like I've been playing war games my entire life. In terms of my favorite system so far, I'm torn between. I mean, I've only played a few. That's obvious. My system is a complete joke. It's just for fun. Like I don't plan on like releasing it. I never really have released any of my own custom house rule systems. They're just kind of like there for fun and hey, I can learn from this, or just kind of house ruling an existing system for the sake of solo play. But in terms of the ones I've played so far, I think either VSSR or one page rules. Those are the real two I've tried. Now, if I had to choose, I'd say the most refined, obviously the most community supported, the largest in the sector of rules light wargaming is probably one page rules. But the SSR also, again, it's very simple skirmish rules. It's a far lesser known variant I found on itch.io. It is it's actually a variant of an existing rules light system. So I think I'm going to lean more in one-page rules, but I do like the simplicity of the SSR. At the same time, Grimdark Future and Age of Fantasy, which are underneath the one-page rules umbrella, are also very simple. But they have advanced rules, or like they have special rules you can further expand on. So as I'm reading through the Kill Team rules, it is definitely a pretty hefty in my opinion. Obviously apparently not as hefty as Warhammer 40k, like the actual rules, whichever edition's on now, 10th or 11th, I believe. But trying out these, different situations and objectives and gameplays has been absolutely enjoyable. And now, just recently, I've steered back to my Escobar campaign because I think one or two of you guys wanted to see that. I did a poll recently on my YouTube which talks about which had a vote on if you want me to continue doing Warhammer, or at least learn Warhammer in general. It was split. It's currently, I think, 9 or so votes. It's 50-50. So, or like 8 or 10 votes. It's 50-50. Again, ultimately it's my choice, but I like to do those polls to see where the audience sits right now, because I don't want to bore you guys with just one consistent trend for like months. That's why I like to try out different things when I can. As much as I love Escobar and the story is growing so much, it's also a burden at times, but then that's also part of the enjoyment factor. So it depends on the mood of the day. Depends on how I am and how invested I am in that specific moment. Do I want to do an Escobar video? Like today, I had a fairly average day at work. So after work, I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about wargaming because an Escobar video needs to take dedication. And I typically do those late at night because after, my day is done, my mind can just slip into role playing. And that's where I think Escobar really does, in my eyes, I can really lay the story out um, at its best. And those tarot cards really work quite well, or they worked well in the last video, especially those simple ones. These ones I have off the side here called Outlander. If you guys are curious, let me show you. Might as well, just in case you guys saw it in the last episode. It's called the Outlander Oracle. It's just a 54 card deck, and yeah, that's really it. It's a fairly simple, just from a local bookstore. Found it. Now back to wargaming. In terms of the complexity to the games, if I ever do expand, and the budget, I want to mention that too. I have been collecting a very small I have a small collection of minis existing from Dungeons and Dragons, now slipping into Warhammer collecting. So not like outright going out every day and buying a bunch of minis because I cannot afford to buy the box sets, to glue them and paint them. That's not a hobby I want to take on right now. And the people who do that for on a daily basis or on weekends, I envy you guys. You guys have amazing patience. You have amazing talent, and then to use those minis in those games is astonishing. And I'm again very impressed because I don't have that amount of time or skill set or patience or money to do that. But I imagine people that do have those traits and those advantages to do such a, in my opinion, a very expensive hobby. But maybe I'm overblowing it. Maybe I'm overthinking how much Warhammer requires to of your time and money. I don't know. Like I can be saying it's expensive, in stance A, but in stance B, people who actually have time and concentration into Warhammer will be like, "Oh, aren't you spending money on those RPG books and dice?" It's like that's a debatable. That is a argument that can be made, but I'm not here to compare that. I'm simply saying, in my current trend, in my current focus, solo RPGs are my primary goal here. But the Warhammer craze, or I should say the wargame craze that I've recently just dipped my toes into, has been very experiencing, and I absolutely love it. I'm glad I tried it. Like, I was hesitant for a few months since my friend and I got into the Warhammer lore and been going to conventions and the Warhammer store, the only one we have in the city, and then, a handful of tabletop gaming stores that play Warhammer, Battletech, and trading card games and all the galore, all that schnaz. Seeing, like, watching, experiencing these games happen on the table, and even on YouTube. Like, there are some 40 minutes, I think 40K and 40 Minutes is a big channel that we've been watching every weekend or so, at least one or two games. Like, the budget, I mean, dude, very impressive. And I would love to reach that point in sometime in the far future. Which, again, that's money, has to do with money, time, like, things I don't have. So, which, hint, hint, Patreon in the future, I'm still thinking about it. But with the setup I have, with this little arch I have, with the camera and light, in a fairly good-sized table, it's like 4x5, or it's at least 4x4. It's in a shared room. Like, this is just a kitchen slash bedroom. And it's not ideal to have a full production of, like, two people playing a tabletop game, or, like, me playing these games solo. So that's where my attempt at trying Warhammer, specifically the game itself, is very limiting, and I'm refraining from entering that hobby because I don't want to jump in, because I have a tendency to hook in, become addicted to games, or like specific games actually, and that's how I am right now with Warhammer Kill Team. It's like I really like the book. I like the designs. I like the simple rules, or at least the not simple, the rules in comparison to actual Warhammer rules. I like it seems very compressed, but it also seems like its own beast in respects. So I hope what I'm saying here makes sense, and I really do hope, especially in these Lex Talk videos, I want the engagement in the comments below. Like, I want you guys to state your opinion. I want to hear your thoughts. What triggered this video was a handful of comments from my last Space Marines versus BattleTech um, skirmish video using one-page rules. Uh, my title was very misleading, and I put a comment in there and in the description too. I think people were confused as to why I made the video, or at least why I wasn't following BattleTech rules. That is completely understandable. That's my fault. I just had it to be in my collection. I didn't expect the surge in views, and I should have thought ahead of time. Maybe people who actually play BattleTech are going to stumble onto this video and be like, "Wait, this guy's not using the rules of BattleTech. He's not using the stats of these figures, these mechs. What's he doing?" Like, that is understandable confusion, and that's why when I saw this comment, I'm like, "Oh shoot, yeah." Like, so, Space Marines versus BattleTech. That is I'd say that it can drive in a handful of views at a time, and then to have solo skirmish wargame or whatever I have in it. In the description I have, hey, I'm using Grimdark Future. I think I had Grimdark Future in the title, but I did update it recently. But anyways, not trying to cause a fuss, but I want to state that that's my mistake, and I apologize for any misdirection or any confusion that my video caused. I do typically have an opener in each video explaining what I'm doing. Like, I try to have those in each video when I'm talking. It doesn't just jump right in. I have done it a few times, but typically my format is I jump in with my face, or at least my voice, so you guys can hear me, and what I'm trying to achieve in the video. Like, what's the rundown? Like, what game am I using? What is going to be used in the game? What is the objective, and what is the outcome to be expected? That's what I try to do in specifically in those wargame videos. Now, my Escobar series, that's quite obvious. It's a 60-plus episode now at this point, with the entire Escobar campaign. I'm not there to sit and just intro every time saying, "Hi guys, Lex Gray, I'm a YouTuber, make solo RPG videos. This is my long-running campaign. This is episode 60. We've done this so far, blah, blah, blah." I just kind of jump right in because I'm assuming people who watch have been watching so far. At least in my description, I include that this is my own world setting that I've been trying to develop loosely. But yeah, like, there's obviously videos that separate between the public crowd and videos that are my ongoing Escobar campaign because, again, I made 60 plus those so far. So, minus, the AI-driven ones in the beginning. But in any respects, back to square one. Wargaming, from this full month, actually, this last day of September, has been absolutely fascinating, and I want to continue. But here is the current limitation, or not limitation, sorry, a couple of ideas I have. I want to try wargaming on the computer, on the actual screen. I have found a program called GTOV, and it is very simple. The graphics are absolutely pathetic, but it's very nostalgic at the same time. It includes most of the things I need. It has measuring, it has a map, you can import minis, it goes off your Google Drive, it has digital dice in it, and limitations are, it's a free game. So there's going to be limitations. You can't, like, put 3D, it is a 3D space, but the pawns are flat. So I recommend looking at GTOVE, GTOVE, just to get a sense of what I'm talking about here. But basically, you can't really have 3D sets or scenery. You're stuck with the flat picture of the table, and then the camera can go isometric. It's kind of 2.5D, I guess you can say. And there's also ArcForge, which is more interactive with existing tabletop sets. So if you have a TV that's your actual bottom of the battlefield, your screen is interactive with the touchscreen, and ArcForge makes it more engaging. Like, there's Field of Fog of War, fire, rivers, the effects, all the shebang. So, obviously, in my opinion, the best is going to be always tabletop experience with actual scenery, minis, a map. But because I have this current setup back on the table for the Escobar campaign, I have my second screen, I have my main computer, and I usually make the Escobar videos like so. But with the tabletop videos, my camera is centered and I have my laptop off the side. It takes, 10-15 minutes to reset up. That's why I want to. That's why I eventually hope for that studio space to record these videos, because I want to have both of those types of things already set, and I can just be like, you know what? Today I'm going to make a tabletop wargame video. I walk right over here, and it's already there. I don't have to like shimmy around or jerry rig my table. I can just go to zone A, make that video, and then later in the day or the next day, you know what? I want to make another Escobar video. I walk over to the right, and it's right there. I don't have to change anything. I just power up my equipment. I adjust some small things here and there, and it's ready to go. That's basically my hopes in the future. But that's, in my opinion, that's also a situation, a reality I have to face when it comes to trying to make these wargame videos on a regular. When all of a sudden, hey, I want to do an Escobar video, I have to clear the table and put back my laptop on another screen, have the light turned on so you guys can see my face, and voila, we are back into making an Escobar video. So it's also mentally for me, it's like when I want to do something on the channel, I want variety, but at times that variety spreads. So if I want to do an Escobar video, I want to do at least a handful of them before I jump to another topic. That way I can enjoy it. It's not just a spike. It's not just that one video of Escobar, and all of a sudden, next day it's going to be a wargame video, then 5 more wargame videos, and Escobar kind of falls to the background, and people are like, hey, where's the Escobar video? So, and to me, it's very intriguing because the Escobar campaign is, the world lore is growing each episode. And again, there's so many things I miss, and then there's so many things I add. It's like, am I stepping on my own feet here? But at the same time, it's like, it doesn't really matter. Alright, so, as I continue to recover from a sickness last week, I want to close this video saying thank you for everybody who comments, people who are newcomers, not part of my original 600 subscribers, but people who kind of stumble on my channel from the wargaming videos. Again, I would do my best to keep those coming. I'm sure that's why you're here, to watch my channel, not me do the solo RPGs, but at the same time I have an audience that seems to like my Escobar campaign, and myself included. I prefer doing those. That's the real core of my channel, but at the same time, I acknowledge the wargaming videos will bring in a very vast amount of people and viewers, which is also appreciative. So, in the end, at the end of the day, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching, as always, and I hope you enjoy my content, and hopefully it's going to be less confusing in the future, because as you can tell, part of this video was a small apology to the viewers of my wargame videos and its titles. So that's really it. Let me know if you want me to make more Lex Talk videos. These are kind of just they're improvised, off the cuff. I have a topic in mind, and that's really it. I really just kind of branch out from there. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.